Hi, this is Glenda, and I'm excited today to show you how to make this soap geodes. They're gonna be embeds on top of soap, probably. And let me warn you that this is a messy process. At least it was for me. What I used was soap dough, which in reality this is leftover soap from the peacock embroidery soap. I'm just gonna grab a little bit of it, but in addition to that, I will be using gold dust and viral glitter from Nurture soap. I will be using Epsom salt. So I'm just gonna grab a piece of each to make a rectangle. So first thing that I'm going to do with each of the soap is that I'm going to make a long and flat rectangle. Not too flat, and it doesn't have to be all even. So you don't have to use a rolling pin or anything like that. Just your fingers will do, and it will actually be better because if it creates an irregular surface, then it's more similar to what we find in nature, where everything is irregular and unique and nothing is cookie cutter type. So I'm doing the same with all of them, and this is my third attempt at making a geode embed, actually, and it's the one that I'm the happiest with. I got the idea from another YouTube channel, but this was a guy who was making some cakes, and it was a gorgeous cake. And let me see his name. I don't remember his name, but the name of the channel is Man About Cake, or at least that was the name of the series. And he had a lady who specializes in making I guess geode cakes. Well, she bakes and she makes all sorts of cakes, but that was one of her most popular ones. And she came over to his channel and they sort of made it together. Now, I'm not following the exact method that they use because they were making it with sugar and other materials that are not soap, obviously. And I did not want to use sugar on this, not to attract any ants to my soap curing area. So instead of that, I'm using the Epsom salts. And I did try painting it the way that they painted, but that didn't work out too good for me. So this is kind of like a combination of their techniques. Alright, the blue one, which is going to go on the outside, is going to be bigger than the rest. So even this one could actually be shorter because it's going to be in the center. Now before I stack them together, I'm going to put gold glitter in between each layer. Now I'm not going to cover it entirely because I do want them to stick to each other, but I do want them to be seen. So some areas will probably have more glitter than others. Now this one, the smallest one, the one that's going to go in the center, in addition to having glitter, is going to have the Epsom salts, but I'm not going to put it in there just yet. First, I'm going to stack this, and actually I think alcohol will help them stick to each other. And on this one, I'm going to put Epsom salts on it and just stick it all over it. So I'm going to use a pen in the middle, and then I'm going to start rolling this into itself. Now I'm trying to stretch the blue so that it touches, and it doesn't look like I have enough of blue, so I'm going to grab or the teal actually. So I'm going to grab some more to cover this gap. Okay, so now I'm just trying to press it into a roll here around so that the layers are stick to each other. And what I'll do next is that I'm going to cover the edge with the gold glitter. In this show, what they did was that they painted the edges towards the end. But from my previous attempt, I learned that it's easier to do it before cutting the slices. Alright, so right now it looks like a big marshmallow. I'm going to press on the side so it has more of an oval shape rather than round. And now I'm going to pull out the pen. And I can see that a lot of the Epsom salts have fallen out of it. So I'm going to put some more in there. That filled it, and a lot of it is gonna come out, and that's fine. But now I'm going to press some to reduce the size of that hole. Right, I think we're ready to cut it. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna cut the first slice out. Oh, and this one broke, but it gives you an idea of what the rest are gonna look like. And I can probably stick this together. That's actually what the rest look like. Now, this soap doesn't want to stick to itself. It's drying out a little bit. It will work better if you use actual soap dough, like soap that was created to be soap dough. But let's cut the next slice. And I'm going slow so it doesn't smudge too much. Oh, it's breaking. So my layers are definitely breaking, which is not good. But nothing that cannot be fixed though. But overall, I'm happy with the shapes. Forget about this one. I think this is the part that I added at the end, and I guess I didn't do a good job pressing on it, and that's why it's breaking apart. In my previous attempts, what I did was that I didn't use the pen. It was a smaller embed, but I put the Epsom salt on that one inner layer, and then in the middle, in the center of it, I added a little bit more so that it will help me preserve a little bit of a space inside, and it wouldn't close off all the way. Again, in this one I had the issue that the layers were too short, so I did have to add more soap dough, but I didn't have that many issues with it. I guess the soap dough was more moist at this point, that it was able to get stuck to each other or to stick to each other better. So when I was cutting it, none of it came off. My center wasn't as open as I wanted it to be, but it worked. What I did was that I used a knife to make it bigger, and then I added more Epsom salts in there to create that crystal core effect. But anyway, this is it. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, let me know below. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Bye.